Quilting goes back like age old, right? But in the 1800s, there was something called the log cabin quilting, where it doesn't get any more American than quilts and apple pie and mom and Coca-Cola and hot dogs and hamburgers and French fries. I don't know how French fries fits into Americana, but it is. The quilting is actually very much involved in artistic storytelling. Did you know that? In the Okay, so we're here with
Joe Reyes.
Joe Reyes. Your wife, Madeline, is here. And when I spoke to Dawn, she said they did something very creative for Madeline. And Madeline was like an expert in quilting. And she said that Madeline's dexterity no longer worked.
Correct.
And so they came up with some alternative way that, can you tell me about that?
Yeah, Amber, one of the staff members here, bought online blocks of cloth. And I'd say maybe they were about 8 by 10, something like that. And I don't know if she cut them down to size, but the thing is that she put these blocks out, there were a good 12, 15 blocks, in front of Madeline. And she told Madeline, she says, I want you to pick out the ones you want and then arrange them in the design you want. So, yeah, and so Madeline did, and she picked out the cloth she wanted, and she arranged them. And then what Amber did was she got construction paper board, and she glued them onto this in the design that Madeline created. And because they can't give her scissors or needles or anything sharp, she might hurt herself or whatever. So anyway, that's what she created, and that piece is hanging in her room. She made a quilt. Oh, she got it about maybe, I'd say 95–98% done. And on a quilt, the outside edge is called the binding, and she could not finish the binding. And what I did was I had the quilt finished, the binding finished by hand by a quilter here in the Caleo Bay, who knew Matt. And we entered that quilt into Road to California and got it sent.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. Because if you understand Road to California, those quilts come all over the country and all over the world. They have places like Iceland and Germany and all those other places. So it's a privilege just to be hung in the hall. In the late 80s, early 90s to 2013 or so, she made pretty close to 110 quilts. She used to commute on the train, the Metro Link. And she used to take her quilts on board. And she made large quilts. The men who worked with her and used to ride with her, they used to tell her, okay, Madeline, you have these 2 seats over here for all your quilt material and everything else, and we'll take the seat over here. I took her over by myself. She didn't know what the soap was versus her toothpaste.
At what point did you say, I need help? Because we're here at Caleo Bay. You're obviously happy with your choice. You made the choice.
Yeah.
I know from the caregiver friends that I've made recently, that sense of guilt. When I came just a few months ago to my parents' house, my dad and I were alone. And the thing is streaming out just like you're doing. He said, Scott, I do not want to go to one of those facilities. And he was looking for a promise from me. And you know what? In the months that came after, I started to become very concerned about my mom also. As I'm sure you know, 70% of caregivers die before their loved ones.
Yes.
I'm worried about my mom and her stress. I'm helping the best I can, but nonetheless, it's her spouse, her husband. And so how did you personally draw a line in the sand and say, now it's time?
But one of the things that happened was, I came here to Caleo Bay to look at the facility. And at that time I told the administrator, I said, my wife is a quilter. I said, but the thing is that she doesn't want to come to a facility.
Nobody does.
Well, okay, but I said, it might be a good idea if you allow her to put on what is called a trunk show. And in other words, the quilters have trunk shows and they show their quilts. I just wanted her to get familiar with the facility. So she came and showed about maybe 6 or 7 quilts, and the ladies here really loved them, and blah, blah, blah. We fold them up, and then she got a little bit of a tour, and they showed her a room. She said, oh, this is a nice room.
And she was suffering badly by it, right?
Well, she wasn't suffering that badly, but she was getting there. And
you were suffering badly.
oh yes, I was. She wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you gotta have to look at what is your loved one into. How can you ease them into a facility like this?
My dad's into westerns.
Well,
it never was. All of a sudden, Gunsmoke. I mean,
well, perhaps maybe if you talk to the group here, or you talk to wherever you think you're gonna put them, and say, look, do you have any Western DVDs?
Do we have Cowboys and Indians here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
How did you find Caleo Bay? Because you said you had identified this, but how did you go about finding
A
it?
couple of people where I live volunteered here in a short time, and I came here. And I looked at other facilities, and I chose this one, and I'll tell you why. Some of the other facilities mix assisted living with memory loss. Okay, those facilities, that the memory loss patients in those facilities are getting shortchanged. The laws say that if an assisted living, if somebody says, oh gee, I don't like the color of that wall, we've got to change it. But a memory loss person doesn't know. And here, this is all they do.
Memory.
They don't, in memory, okay? They don't do assisted living. And that's the difference, and that's why I chose her.
Specialty.
Yeah, she gets more concentrated care.
I don't want that day to happen when my dad looks at me in the eye again and said, you promised.
Just know that what you've done is the best thing you can do for your father at that time. I realized that this was the best thing I could do for Madeline at the time, because I realized that I could no longer take care of her on my own, safely at home. That's one man whose wife died from Alzheimer said, you're like on an airplane, and all of a sudden the pressure system goes on, the oxygen mask is down. Put your oxygen mask on first. You're not going to be any help to anybody. If you're trying to help them first, you're going to pass out. Keep yourself healthy. Try to eat well. Exercise if you can, walk, socialize, all the things,
With creativity.
Yeah. Creativity.
Right.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Really awesome. So Madeline and Joe, thank you for sharing your story with us.